Taika Waititi returns to the MCU to helm the follow-up to the candy-coloured, laugh-out-loud Thor Ragnarok. But how does Thor Love and Thunder stack up against its predecessor? Let's find out. Everywhere Odin's children go, death and destruction follow. Loki's near destruction of Jotunheim in the 2011 film Thor is motivated by his yearning to finally be accepted by a father who never really treated him like a son. The Battle of New York in the 2012 film Avengers is fueled by Loki's desire for a throne. Once promised as his birthright by Odin, then revealed to be a cruel lie all along. An entire planet is destroyed in 2017 film Thor Ragnarok as part of a plan to stop Thor and Loki's murderous sister Hela, but not before she slaughters hundreds. Family spats are messy and painful, but few cause universal destruction on a scale Thor's family does. In Thor, Love and Thunder, their inherent selfishness is revealed to be a trait shared by all the gods. These are cruel, uncaring beings who chase the glory of dying in battle while their subjects struggle to survive.
I said it was going to be like a relaxing holiday.
When a god is killed early on in the film, gold rips out from the wound in his neck. It's an image that reinforces how even their deaths are characterized by the same excesses they enjoyed in life. Throughout the film, Thor keeps referring to his quests as classic Thor adventures. It's a flippant way of describing situations which are, for ordinary people, a matter of life and death. If Thor Ragnarok blew up the formula of past Thor films, shedding the Norse god's baggage and freeing him up to discover new horizons, Thor Love and Thunder reframes his never-ending quest for a sense of purpose in a particularly harsh light. How many people must die while he comes of age again and again?
These hands were once used for battle. Now they're but humble tools for peace.
Taika Waititi's filmography reveals a director who understands that characters who run headfirst in one direction are often just running away from something they'd rather leave behind. His version of Thor, co-written with Jennifer Caton Robinson, is no different. Having given up on love after the heartbreak of his romance with Dr. Jane Foster, Thor busies himself by fighting alongside the Guardians of the Galaxy. Back on Earth, New Asgard is now a tourist spot, with rides, eateries and guided tours, all of which feel like a cheeky in-joke at the MCU resembling a theme park. Valkyrie, now the king, has resigned herself to a life of cutting ribbons and welcoming dignitaries, while she secretly yearns for adventure. Meanwhile, Jane, for whom the boundary between science and magic has always been porous, assumes the mantle of the mighty Thor in a last-ditch effort to reinvigorate her ailing body. The three team up to fight Gore the God Butcher, a man who vows to kill every god after his prayers go unanswered and his young daughter dies. Natalie Portman wields Mjolnir with a focused intensity and a fluid ease that makes it look like second nature. Bale's performance is full of whispered menace and creeping dread. He is a ghostly figure that's haunted by the weight of his own regret. Chris Hemsworth has impeccable comic timing and anchors the more ridiculous moments of this film with raw emotion.
I'm sorry, Meek. It's very hard to get a rousing speech with the noise.
But as top-notch as the performances are, they're let down by the inconsistent writing. True to its title, Thor Love and Thunder is one part big heart, but also one part great noise and empty spectacle. A single montage encapsulates the entire history of Thor and Jane's love, with affectionate snapshots of them rollerblading, watching scary movies together, and attending a costume party. These are moments of quiet domesticity and an intimacy that's rarely afforded to MCU characters. Love makes the characters in this film weak and vulnerable, open to the possibility of hurt, but it also imbues them with a strength that they didn't know they could tap into. This is a film about feeling disillusioned by your religion, the very thing meant to give you comfort. It's a film about the helplessness that is part of all life, whether human or God. It's also a film about fighting for what you love, even if it kills you. These themes lend the film gravitas, but they struggle for space alongside Waititi's childlike brand of humor. The mix of irreverence and complete sincerity results in a tonal whiplash. The more Thor searches for a new purpose, the more it becomes apparent that the MCU lacks one, and it's stuck in a creative rut. The film replicates some of the gags from Thor Ragnarok to great comedic effect. But at its most tedious, the film feels like a series of tired callbacks to past moments. Among signs that the franchise might be running out of steam are that it's the second MCU movie in a row to feature an ancient object that corrupts its user. Remember the Darkhold and its poisonous grip on Wanda in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness? More specifically, it's also the second movie in Phase 4 to feature a sword that curses the person who wields it. The first was the Ebony Blade in the Eternals post-credit scene. Thor has been a god so preoccupied with going down in history and fearing the future, he's forgotten how to cherish the present. But even the gods don't know how long they have. And as Thor learns, myths and legends are of little significance if you don't have someone to share them with. It's a touching sentiment, but within the MCU, which has perfected a business model based on commodifying, expanding, and wringing out the last drop of content from its stories, it rings hollow. The MCU is now the dominant culture. You don't need me to recommend the latest installation of this franchise to you. You're going to watch it anyway. You know this, I know this. My only hope is that you enjoy this movie a lot more than I did.